Hey people, this episode of WTF is sponsored exclusively by Adult Swim. Season 4 of Children's Hospital is underway every Thursday at midnight, followed by an all-new NTSF SD SUV. Check out AdultSwim.com for more. Go on. Do it.
Lock the gate!
Are we doing this? Really? Wait for it. Are we doing this? Wait for it.
Pow!
What the fuck?
WTF.
And it's also, what the fuck? What's wrong with me? It's time for WTF.
What the fuck?
With Marc Maron.
All right, let's do this. How are you, what the fuckers? What the fuck buddies? What the fuck ire fighters? Yeah, how's that one? What the fuck nicks? What the fuckistanis? What the fuckers? I am Marc Maron. This is WTF. Thank you for dumping me into your head this morning or this afternoon or this evening or whenever it is. Have a nice flight. Have a nice run. Have a nice drive. Clean up that house. Do what you got to do. And if I can help you in any way, I will be right here in your ears. That's it. That's how it's going to go today. If you're in Victoria, in Esquimalt, I'll be at the Blue Ridge Comedy Festival tomorrow, Friday the 17th and Saturday the 18th. Never been there. Hope it's nice. Looking forward to it. Today on the show, David Koechner. Wow, David Koechner. If you don't know David Koechner, I should maybe reel off some things. He was in Anchorman. He's been in everything. He's one of those guys. He's one of those character actors. He's been on Curb Your Enthusiasm. He was in the Dukes of Hazzard, Talladega Nights. He was in that. He was on the Naked Trucker and T-Bone show. Did not succeed on television, but that live show, that character was fucking nuts. Koechner will be here shortly. What have I been doing? What have I been doing, you ask? Well, I was in Salt Lake City. Haven't talked about that to you. This is a city that I've gotten much more comfortable in. I used to be scared. I used to be frightened of the Mormon contingent until I realized, hey, there's a lot of lapsed Mormons. There's a lot of cool Mormons. There's a lot of pleasant people there. Why be freaked out? It's a weird city, but weird can be good. And quite honestly, there's a place in Salt Lake City called Bruges, I think it's pronounced. It's just all they sell is Belgian waffles. And I think the guy must come from Belgium. I went there. I had a sandwich. This was a cheat day. Now, obviously, the cheat day has lasted well into yesterday and today because the backlash of dieting is ridiculous. It's ridiculous to diet because all that denying yourself shit just leads to an avalanche of, I'm going to put food in my face. It's not good for me in any way. Whatever. But this waffle place, holy shit, I don't know what they do. They're like magic waffles. They're magic waffles. All the people in Salt Lake City are wandering around, many of them wearing magic underwear, and I don't know if they all realize that they have magic waffles right there. I'd never tasted anything like it. It wasn't just a waffle, it was a Belgian waffle, and it was like crisp on the outside and soft on the inside, and I had ice cream on it, and that was following this weird sandwich I ate with lamb sausage and French fries on the sandwich. That was crazy. I had a nap. I mean, I literally ate a sandwich with lamb sausage, French fries, some sort of sauce. Then I had the waffle with ice cream, went back to my hotel room, laid on my bed, and could not feel my hands. That's how that went. Now, if I could discuss the shows in Salt Lake City, very odd. I did 2 shows, and I think I had an experience that I've never had before on stage. And I think it's worthy of some discussion. I think I may have facilitated a divorce, but I doubt it. I've never really had this experience, and they were lovely audiences. Great people came out, nice people. You get the feeling that they're the people that come out, to see me. Like I got the feeling that there's definitely people in Salt Lake that are sort of like, thank God you're here. We're surrounded. There's that vibe. We're surrounded. I'm just glad we can all meet in one place and that there's others like me. But, so I get on stage. I'm brought up by the guy, Spencer. Funny guy. He brings me up. And I literally set foot on stage. I had not even grabbed hold of the mic in the stand, and a guy sitting up front with a woman and another couple. The guy says, hey, you were funny on TV last night. And I'm like, well, thank you. Yeah, Louie. And I know that tone. That is drunk guy tone. So I'm like, all right. I haven't even, opened my mouth yet to do any material at all. And this guy is in it. He's like, yeah, that was funny. You were funny. And I'm like, okay, I appreciate that. Are we going to, keep talking? He's like, I don't know. Yeah, it was good. And he's not the kind of drunk guy. Yeah, there's a couple kind of drunks. There's guys that are just like assholes, like, you suck, fuck you. And then there's this other kind of drunk that sort of everything they say is just some version of I'm sorry, but I can't control myself. It's a self-pitying drunk. And this guy was one of those. I'm like, so are we going to talk? He's like, yeah, I shouldn't. Yeah, well, I'm glad. Go ahead. Go ahead. And everything should just end with, I'm an idiot. I can't stop my mouth. Like right now I should just be saying, I'm drunk. I'm an asshole. I can't control myself. There's nothing worse than that kind of drunk because you really have there's nothing, you can't shit on them because you literally, I could go, you're drunk and it's like, I know, I'm drunk again. It's like, well, you're fucking up my show. I'm an asshole. And I'm like, oh my God. And his wife, it turned out to be his wife, I found out later, was literally like talking to him, trying to shut him up. And he's like, she wants me to stop. I got to stop. She wants me to shut up, And then he just kept talking and she eventually just gets up and leaves. So he's sitting there by himself and there, I believe, with this other couple. And I'm like, well, and I start doing my act. And, I keep looking at him because I'm waiting for him to step in. And he's saying like, yup, that kind of shit. And I'm trying to deal with it because he's friendly enough. But then at some point I do a joke and he's just like, that wasn't good. That doesn't work. That didn't work. And this has been 10 minutes of this stuff, and I had been, you want to do a good show. You don't want to be completely distracted. But he's like, no, that's not funny, basically is what he said. So I just very honestly, I looked at him. I said, you have to go. You have to go now. And he, without missing a beat, he goes, I know. And I'm like, well, are you going to go? He goes, yep. Yeah, I'm going to go. And I'm like, okay, well then go. And he goes, turn the other way. Just turn the other, I'll go if you look the other way. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, just don't look at me. Turn the other way. So I accommodated this guy. Now you realize his wife had left, 10 minutes before. So I turned the other way and then he leaves. And I just stood there. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. How weird is this? And I do my show for a little while. And then his wife comes back in and I see her sit down. And then the woman she's sitting next to looks at me and I'm like, what's up? And they're sitting right up front. And she goes, she left him. I'm like, what do you, she left him? Where did she leave him? He's probably in the parking lot wandering around, angry. And she's like, nope, this is it. She left him. And I know in my mind, I've been in this situation before. I've seen this situation before. Whatever was happening there, it happened dozens of times. I looked at her. I said, he's got a drinking problem. And she goes, I know. And I'm like, well, he should go to a meeting. And then she says, yeah, I've tried that. So now it's like, it's not really a comedy show. It's some sort of hands-on, I've got to balance this. Because I still have to do comedy and the audience. I mean, it's very exciting when something real happens, but it was a little gnarly. And I'm like, so that's it? Yeah. Well, I mean, what, you got kids? And she's like, 2. And it's like, oh my God, how am I going to transition to comedy here? So I start doing comedy. I start talking about drugs a little bit. I start relating to her and she's like laughing, but I could tell she was about to cry and it was upsetting. But, the whole show was very intricate. And I looked at her, I said, you know what's going to happen, right? You're going to walk out there and he's going to be out there in the parking lot with the sad face on going, oh, I'm sorry. I did it again. Oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll stop. And she's like, exactly. I'm like, well, you've got quite a night ahead of you. With whatever the hell you've unleashed here. And so that was that. I made her laugh and everything was cool. And after the show, I was, selling T-shirts and things. And she walked up to me. She waited to walk up to me. And she goes, can I hug you? And I'm like, yeah. And I give her a hug. And I'm like, you're all right? And she's like, yeah, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. With just that exasperated face of like, I've gone through this all the time. I felt bad. I don't know what happened. I don't know where they're at, but I wish them the best. But I'll tell you, nothing worse than a loud, self-pitying drunk, because you can do nothing with them. You're an asshole. I know. I'm an asshole. I can't stop talking. All right, before we get to Dave Koechner, let me just tell you this. Our exclusive sponsor today is Adult Swim. We love Adult Swim here at the show. I actually did a voice on the Adult Swim show Metalocalypse. If you're a Metalocalypse fan, right now you're listening to the Magnus Hammersmith character. I did that. That was me. But also on Adult Swim, Season 4 of Children's Hospital is happening right now. It's already started. It's hilarious. And there's some what the fuck favorite guests on the show, like Rob Corddry, Megan Mullally, Rob Hubel, Seth Morris, who you may know as Bob Duca, the genius comedic actor. And also, of course, the Fonz himself, Henry Winkler. Hey. And after Children's Hospital, it's a brand new season of NTSF SD SUV with more what the fuck people. More what the fuck favorite guests. Paul Scheer, Rob Riggle, June Diane Raphael. If you go all the way back to episode 63 of WTF, June was part of one of our most commented on segments, and I just tipped it. Now you know that it was an act. I'm not going to tell you what bit it was. Go get the app, upgrade to the premium, get and listen to episode 63. Children's Hospital and NTSF SD SUV Thursdays at midnight on Adult Swim. You can check out adultswim.com for a schedule and more details. These are funny shows. These are the funniest people working in funny right now. Between Adult Swim, Metalocalypse, NTSF SD SUV. This is the cutting edge of comedy, my friends, on Adult Swim. Go to adultswim.com. So what do you know about cats? Because mine has stopped meowing.
I know no.
Like there's something wrong with his meow.
Then the short answer would be it's dead.
No, I saw him this morning. He's not dead, but he's going. I'm trying not to panic. It sounds to
me like he is trying to do some beatboxing. Does he want to be in show business?
Yeah, I think that. Well, he hasn't told me that, but when people hang around as long as he has, you start to wonder what this is about. Is it that you just want food, or do you want a fucking break? Because he's been on the podcast twice.
Has he?
Yeah,
he's looking for a way in.
Yeah, well, I've given him plenty of opportunities, but he chickens out at the last minute.
Right, fear of success.
Well, that we share. Yeah, now the hardest thing for me is not to see his loss of voice as some sort of strange cosmic sign of what's to come for me. Does it mean that I will lose my voice? That the one thing that I have? No. Thank you. So I think the first time I saw you, honestly, was I just vaguely remember you kind of like barreling into Luna Lounge, sweaty. I think you just started doing SNL. And I said, who the fuck's that guy? And someone said, he's the new guy on SNL. And I'm like, there's a new guy on SNL? Where did he come from? Where do they make these people?
It's interesting because I was thinking the same thing to myself. When was the first time we met? And it was at Luna. I was trying to remember. I knew it started with an L, in Manhattan. Mm-hmm. Is it in the East Village?
That's right, Ludlow Street.
Okay. And then I do remember this. You were drinking a Diet Coke and I think wearing red Levi's.
Okay, red Levi's?
Yes,
I mean, that might be...
I think so.
Maybe a rust-colored Levi?
Perhaps.
Yeah, maybe a brownish rust color. Yes. I remember there was a pair of those that I was very into.
Earth tone Levi's.
Sure, that's possible.
And that would be the first time we met.
Was I sweating? Did I seem like I was on Coke?
You did not seem like you're on Coke because you were drinking Diet Coke. And I think
so maybe that was a sober time for me.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was probably sweating because this would have been still the summertime in New York. And I'd just gotten hired, so we were checking out the alt scene there in New York. I went with Mark McKinney. We'd both just gotten hired, and we wanted to check out whatever venues were there.
Right.
I don't think I went up, did I?
I don't think you did. I think you just came and you sort of hung around, and then you left.
Yeah.
And, of course, I probably said, like, where the fuck did that guy come from? I mean, he's on SNL. I mean, because at that time I always thought, like, I should know everybody who's up for this. They didn't call me about this Koechner fella.
Right. I didn't approve that.
But I thought you were originally. I thought you were part of that Ohio, the Iowa crew.
The Higgins,
Higgins and Toby Huss,
Higgins, Boys and Gruber. Yeah,
but you're not.
No,
you come from another part of the country,
Chicago,
right? And then before that,
Missouri.
What the hell's going on there?
I know. Tell me.
I mean, you're like a shit kicker guy.
Yeah, but I always battled against that. I was very aware early on that there was something else for me.
Like what is it? What is it like in Missouri? Like all I picture is Dorothea Lange photographs, and like people leaving, the Depression.
People leaving is very good. Thomas Hart Benton. It's very rural. It is a blue state. It's stubborn. Here's the thing about Missouri. It's called the show me state. Right?
Yeah.
Which, first of all,
it's a blue state?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry. Red. I'm sorry.
I was
going
to say, which map are you looking at?
It's conservative.
Like, there's this, like, surprise, Missouri's a blue state.
That would be
something
wonderful.
Was released into the air and everyone thought properly.
Yeah. It was highly conservative. They're pretty narrow-minded.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from a very small town.
What does that mean? Did you shit in the house?
Yes, we shat in the house.
Because when people say rural, and I think Missouri, there's still an outside chance that you're like, I'm going out back.
My dad did. My dad had an outhouse, and so did my mom. My parents grew up in humble means. Of course, they grew up during the Depression.
Right, Dorothea Lange pictures.
There you go.
Yeah.
And so my father, the thing they would say, stuff like the Weekly Wiper about the newspaper.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to understand that. I mean, that was toilet paper.
No.
Yeah.
So, come on.
Oh, yeah, that's how poor people were. I mean,
the Weekly Wiper?
The Weekly Wiper.
I thought they had some version of like a kind of like a makeshift bidet situation where they just had a pitcher of water and just smash their bits.
Because it would freeze during the winter.
Oh, you need
So, I mean, you had to go shit and piss in an outhouse.
Well, I guess the question is, did they read the paper?
That is a good question.
Yeah, okay.
They were literate. They weren't. But like on my mother's side of the family, very religious. 11 kids in my mother's family.
What religion?
Catholic. 11 kids in that family. She was the youngest, but the oldest 4 were in the religious. The oldest 4 were priests and nuns.
Irish?
Yeah. Irish Catholic. My father's side of the family, all farmers.
What'd they farm?
Everything. Corn, soybeans, wheat.
So your dad had a sense of soil.
Oh, yeah. But then he was a manufacturer.
Yeah.
When he moved to town. I mean, they lived outside of town.
Yeah, what was town?
Town was Tipton, and at the time, my God, I don't know, 1,000
The
people.
Tipton?
Well, there are like 8 Tiptons.
Yeah.
There's a Tipton, Iowa, Tipton, Kansas, Tipton, Nebraska, Tipton, Georgia, I think.
No, I'm definitely thinking of the Tipton, Missouri.
Yeah.
That's the one. That's the one that everybody...
That's the one I'm from. I drove through. I did some shows in Indiana, and I had to drive from South Bend down to another place.
Yeah,
and I had to go through Tipton, Indiana, so I had to stop somewhere and say, "Hey." Yeah. And they couldn't have cared less.
You had to say, "Hey, I'm from Tipton, Missouri."
Tipton, Missouri.
What do you? Yeah, and they're like, "Who's the weird guy?"
Really weirdo.
Yeah.
Go on, hayseed.
So wait, what? Like, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
5. There's 6 of us.
There's 6 of you,
Yeah.
and you know them all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Know them like...
No, I mean like you guys talk and stuff. I'm always curious about that. Yeah.
Sure. I knew that I was very different from them. It's
really?
Interesting. Oh, yeah, always.
How old? Who's it? What? Where are
I'm
you?
the third. I'm the third. My brother Mark is... myself and my brother and my sister came in quick succession.
Yeah.
We're all a year apart. And then there was a couple years, then my next 2 sisters, then my youngest brother's 9 years younger than I am. But I always knew I was different. You don't want to say black sheep, but I just thought differently. I knew I had to get out of town. I knew there was something else going on. I knew I had a different desire. They pretty much stayed home and would still be there if it was a little bit larger. My brother took over my father's business. My 3 sisters live in Kansas City, which is an hour and a half from Tipton.
That's bigger.
Yeah. Yes. And then my brother Joe bought a pharmacy, 2 pharmacies in a town the size of Tipton in Kansas.
So he's a drug dealer?
Yes. Very much so.
And all right, so wait, what business was what was your dad's racket?
He was a manufacturer of livestock transportation vehicles for turkeys.
That's pretty specific.
Right. Well, I had to be specific because if I say turkey coops, people think he made pens for turkeys in people's backyards.
Which is that's a layman's job.
Yes.
What your dad did was something
he
bigger.
made livestock trailers for turkeys. That's
when you're driving down the highway in the middle of the country and your car is being pelted with feathers and bird shit.
Yes.
And you're like, holy fuck, what is that filled with? It's turkeys.
And where did it come from? Koechner Manufacturing in Tipton, Missouri. There were only 2 manufacturing plants for turkeys, for turkey coops. One was in Tipton, one was in Nacogdoches, Texas.
So I'm thinking that once or twice, maybe even 4 times a year, your dad came home with a fresh fucking turkey.
No. Never. We didn't raise birds.
No, but
people didn't give us birds.
What do you mean they didn't give you birds? What kind of ungrateful?
We sold because these coops would be purchased by the large corporations that farmed out birds being raised all over the country.
Like
Lewis Rich, for instance, or used to be Ralston Purina.
Okay.
Purveyors of
They're not
these
like
animals.
Tom's Turkey Place.
But what they'll do is they'll hire farmers to raise the birds, then they have to go pick them up and take them to the one central processing plant.
Right, so it had nothing to do with the farmer. It had
Correct.
everything to do with the processing plant.
Correct.
So you never had to witness the turkey holocaust.
No.
Okay.
But when I was in 6th grade, we did go to the local meatpacking plant. For our 6th grade class trip, we went to Jantz Meatpacking Plant.
Jantz.
Yes, and another German name. And we watched a cow be slaughtered from its entry into the squeeze chute, it being shot, pulled up, throat slit, and then the whole process of that cow run through the entire slaughterhouse.
What year was this?
I was in 6th grade, so this would have been in the 70s.
Well, how did you handle that?
We all were laughing and giggling and punching each other and just going through like, haha, yeah, so what? We're out of class today, because everyone in that class had a farm, except me, actually. We were the only ones who weren't active farmers.
You weren't the crying kid, though.
No one cried. No one batted an eye, because everyone had seen an animal be killed. Everyone.
Yeah.
Because they were all farmers.
And you had?
Well, I'll tell you a story. I remember being young, and outside of our house in town, we had a root cellar. And a root cellar is two things. It's an emergency shelter for tornadoes, if it needs to be, or you'd keep
potatoes and beets.
Exactly. Thank you. Down there, and they'd keep all year long without any need of a heater or cooler or anything else.
Right.
Now, it is on a slanted angle, so it's like almost opening up into the ground. Mm-hmm. And I remember my dad, someone was over because he was going to, a guy who was a bulldozer operator was going to do some work for my dad out near his manufacturing plant.
Sure.
And they were talking casually, and someone had been sent to get some potatoes down from the root cellar. So we opened the doors, and Dad looks down, and there's a small rabbit there. Mm-hmm. This is going to horrify your listeners, but this is just the way things work. There's a baby rabbit there, right? So my dad, in mid-conversation, casually reaches down, picks up the rabbit, and then twists its head off, right? Because he's a farmer. He grew up a farmer. Now, what would that rabbit be to any farmer?
Just a pest.
It's a varmint. It's going to eat the crops. Now, I tell that story to just because here's the thing. I intrinsically understood what he was doing. It didn't horrify me and make me think, oh, Daddy, that's a pet. Right. I was like, huh. Because it was as casual as opening a can of corn.
There's one. Got to get rid of it.
It was just like, here you go. I can twist this thing
off. Potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The first time I heard that.
More likely eat livestock, eat crops. But yes, the first time you heard that.
Well, no, the first time I was introduced to that, it kind of blew my mind because I had a rodent problem in my apartment in New York, and I had a friend, Jim, who was from Montana or somewhere. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I got mice. And he's like, you just got to kill them all. And I'm like, but they're mice, and, I feel bad. I don't know what kind of trap. He's like, who cares? They're pests. They're like cockroaches. Right. And I couldn't make that jump, but it was because he grew up in that environment.
Right.
Where, there's nothing cute here. No. This is a problem.
And you also think about it, this little rabbit was going to die anyway. It, for some reason, was under this door.
Well, that's a rationalization. I don't think your father was going to think that anyways.
No. The thing is, I'm saying for your listeners, if you go through the process of that thing, okay. Well, I don't want them to think I'm a horrible beast, but they're going to think whatever they want to. Anyway.
I think they're going to blame your dad, as you probably do.
I don't blame him.
No?
No. Wonderful guy. Hard worker.
Well, the weird thing about the Germans.
Yes.
Yeah, outside of whatever happened, between them and my people, which, that's a few generations back, right? I'm not going to hold you responsible for any of that.
We'll get into that in a minute. Are
we going to get into that?
We can. I'm actually not even a German. I'm not even a Keckner.
Here we go with the denial. Right. You're one of the good Germans. I'm
not German at all. My grandfather was adopted.
Oh.
So, and his last name would have been Williams.
What does that even mean? So
it's either British or Irish.
Okay.
And if you look at my translucent skin, you can see that I'm 100% Irish.
Well, I'm sort of fascinated with the Germans in general in the Southwest and in the Midwest. There's so much the documented history that I don't know and speculate about. But there's a lot of Scandinavians and Germans were really the people that farmed the entire region of the Midwest, Southwest, and Upper Midwest.
True.
Because from what I understand, and I'll just educate you a little bit.
Please.
There was a period in American history where, the landowners realized they had all this property. It was almost farmable because it was so shitty that they put out a general casting call around the world to people that come from hard climates and knew how to farm. They'd give them a deal and give them a chunk of land if they could figure out how to plant seeds in this shit. And that's why you have Scandinavians all up in the Midwest.
Yeah.
And I would like to reference Ian Fraser's Great Plains for that. If you'd like to read all about that, a very condensed version of American agricultural history and the history of the American Indian. Yes, Dave Koechner.
You should put an Amazon icon right on your website with that. So if they go to your website, then buy it, then you get a tiny taste.
That is actually a very good idea, and I don't know why I haven't thought of that. You're saying that create a WTF book club where I can make a little...
make it, if they come to your website and look at recommended reading... via then you get a little taste.
Holy shit.
And why shouldn't you? Because you become then the bookseller.
That's right. And you can do that with Amazon. That's a good idea. We'll make note of that.
All right.
You know what? I don't have to. It's recorded. All right. So did you go to... So you have all these brothers and sisters. You get along with them. Yeah. And your mother, you have millions of aunts and uncles and cousins. I can't even imagine how many cousins you have.
My father's side 36, on my mother's side 47.
Yeah. Did you do this before you got here? You said, I know this is going to come up.
I know that as a matter of course because of
Could you name them all? Seriously?
No. Okay. Boy, if I saw the faces, I'd be like, which one are you? At one point, I could have named all of them. But there's maybe not the older ones because there was like that. My mother was the youngest of 11, so there were some of her, nieces and nephews that were nearly her age.
Oh, okay.
And so beyond that, I know that number because when my wife and I got married, in my family, you have to invite all the first cousins. Sure. Not only the aunts and uncles, but the first cousins get invited as well. Right. So I remember that number. It was a large list.
Now, were you brought up with the Jesus in a big way?
Oh yeah. Well, they were very Catholic.
Yeah.
Very Catholic.
Did you hold on to the Jesus?
I did until about sophomore in college, and then I remember really needing answers because I was from a small town. I moved. Then I moved away, and so you're trying to figure yourself out. Who am I? And I remember going to.
You're in college, and you're like, "There's a hell. I might be going."
Yeah, you're certainly no. I mean, certainly the Catholic religion faith is based on shame and guilt and fear, and so you've got a healthy dose of that, and you're trying to intrinsically reject that anyway and intellectualize it all. And then I had to go to a Catholic college. I had to by parental decrees. Either you go to a community college or if you want to go to school, you go to this one Catholic college for at least 2 years.
Either you cut your possibilities for a future almost entirely, or you go to a Catholic college.
Or you can work for Dad at the plant.
You go to community college, work for Dad, or go to a Catholic college and roll the dice.
Yes. Well, the service is always an option, I guess. So I'm sitting there.
Was that an option? Did you think of that?
I did at one point. Yeah.
Why? Because you
got to go.
Were you fucked up?
No, just because you got to get out. I got to see the world. I've got to see something else
than this.
Yeah. And so I remember sitting in the afternoon in a church and wanting answers. I'm almost like begging, like, somebody speak to me. What's going on? And I remember when I didn't hear anything, getting up and leaving, going, okay, so we're good? Because I was asking pretty hard. And I didn't get anything. Then the next year I went to the University of Missouri and took a philosophy course and read Bertrand Russell's Why I'm Not a Christian.
Right.
And I thought, well, this makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
For Logic. This all makes sense. Yeah. All war?
Yeah.
All these bad things? Yes, Bertrand, the Christians.
Finally, some answers.
Yes. Now, since then...
You've gotten old and beat up and you're starting to drift back to...
not necessarily... Well, certainly spirituality and the universality of whatever it is that we're all participating in.
Yeah, this charade.
This energy. Yeah, I'm not even talking about...
This ridiculous game with no meaning? Is that the thing you're talking about?
Well, a meaning to be named later when we get to the next whatever level of this video game that we're playing.
So you're optimistic. That's good.
Well, I don't even know...
Are you sure you're going to be included in the next level?
Well, we know that, you have to be, because by the mere fact of our whatever we call consciousness right now has to, in some way, lend an idea that we have another evolutionary model that we're going to go to spiritually or consciously or whatever.
I like the way that sounds, but I'm afraid that if you were to really try to explain it to me, we'd be here a long time. And
That's okay.
All right. What do you mean?
Who are you competing with? There's only one person. It's yourself. There's only one person.
Well, if that's the case, I'm losing.
Well, but you don't have to.
Okay.
The hardest thing is to make that choice every second that always be on the upside, the positive side, the winning side of whatever it is you want to do. And that's the only thing we have to acknowledge. Rather than focusing on why something won't work, we only give it the energy of this is absolutely definitely going to.
But these sound like
platitudes and affirmations.
No. Yeah, platitudes, affirmations, but a disposition that was hammered on the anvil of disappointment.
Exactly. That is so well put.
Narcissism, that, whatever is in my perception and whatever I perceive as being part of my mental makeup, whatever's coming at me is by virtue of coming at me, the only way I absorb it is make it a part of me. I'm the absorber.
I would say that is actually a very healthy choice to make, and I've been listening to some Deepak Chopra, and he said, I thought something was quite, of course everybody just wants to twist the whole basic notion down to one thing. He calls it, you don't live in the world lives in you, and that's just the statement you kind of made. So
that's
I like
right.
That.
The world lives in me,
yes,
and that means that someone's got to run it.
Exactly.
Yes, so now whether or not the world that is living in me has any bearing or relationship to the world externally, to the actual world,
right?
Who could say? Like, does Pete Holmes know that I own him? No, he doesn't. But in my world, Pete Holmes is working for me.
That's
not only
perfect.
that,
and you know what? Everyone should be working for you.
Everyone is working for me.
That's perfect.
It's amazing. It's a big responsibility to be king, and a lot of times.
But are you a noble king? Are you a good king? Are you a just king?
I'm all those things unless I'm irritable, and then it's like I'm a cranky king. Some shit goes down,
right?
And then I'm a contrite king.
But then why did it go down? If you're the king, you're in charge of being irritable.
Hey, I'm not perfect. Ask Jesus. All right, I'm not perfect. Everyone's flawed, dude.
Who also works for you?
Of course he does. He works for everybody, from what I'm told.
Apparently, right? That you were talking about codependent.
Yeah, I'll say. Oh boy, Jesus is the king of doormats.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess it's
he's the patron saint of all codependency.
Do you know who
I died for you? That's heavy, man. You didn't have to do that, yo. I mean, really, seriously, you could have just went on, built some things.
That's the end of every argument you ever have with Jesus. Do you know what I did for you? Do you? Let me show you.
That is the end of the argument. That is what Catholicism is based on.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I did for you?
Yeah.
You
ungrateful.
Ungrateful, you sinner.
Sinner.
Yeah.
Yep.